Okay, so we also have this topic before us, that is relative error and percentage error. So before we can even find percentage error, you need to know what we call the relative error. And when we say relative error, what is relative error? So we are talking about the ratio of the absolute error to the actual or the original error. Most of the time, when you are asked to maybe measure and then do it in percentage, there might be an error. There will be some cases where um, the main value that you get, you may record a wrong value. So when that happens, then we say find that error. Or at times too, maybe the actual value is there, but you may be asked to approximate it. Yes. So when you approximate those values, you may not know the actual um, error that you committed. So we will ask you to find those errors. Good. Now, when we say relative error, we are saying that it is the ratio of the absolute error to the actual what or original error. And what is the absolute error? So when we talk we talk of the absolute error, we are talking about the difference of the values. So we are talking about the difference between the difference of the initial value and the final values. So they are the difference of values. That is what we mean by what absolute value. So when we say absolute value or absolute error, absolute error is equal to what? Difference in values. Good. So we can even say absolute error is given as what the ratio of difference in values to the actual or original error. Yes. And to get the percentage error, it's just a matter of what? Finding what? The relative error. Then you multiply by 100%. That gives you what? The percentage error. Okay, good. So we are going to use this formulas to find the relative error and the percentage error. So we'll not waste time. We'll take our first example and then we'll look at how we go about it. So let me write this question. Let me write this question down. Let me write the question down. So example one. Let's say we have if let's say 35 was approximated as let's say 4. Then let's find I, the relative error. At I we find the percentage or the percent error. Good. So this one will not waste time. We just quote the formula and just substitute. So first you need to identify your absolute error. And I said that the absolute error, we are talking about the difference in values. So know your actual error or approximated, or know your actual value. Yes, know your actual value and your approximated value. So it says if 35 was approximated as this, so which one is our actual value or original value? Looking at this is 35. So we need to know. So actual value is equal to what? 35, 3.5, rather not 35, 3.5. And the approximated value or the estimated value. So let's say approximated value is given as 4. So we are only finding the absolute error. So the absolute error, that is the difference. So absolute is equal to what? So we find 4 minus 3.5, which gives what? 0.5. Good. So this becomes our absolute error. So whenever you're asked to find that absolute error, we mean by what? The difference in values. Have you gotten? So we find the difference. If that is the case, then let's find the relative. So I will term the relative error as R um, subscript what? Capital E. That will be my relative error. And we are saying that it is given as what? Absolute error divided by the actual value. So what is the absolute error? Absolute error is given as 0.5. And what is our actual or original value? That is the 3 point what? 5. Great. So you find the value for this. Good. So this one we are getting 0.14285.7. So this one, it doesn't have a terminating value. So since this question didn't ask us to round our numbers, we can decide to um, approximate it to maybe 4 decimal places. So I will leave the answer to 0.142, then 4 decimal places, because the last number is what? After 1, 2, 3, 4. After the fourth number, the next number is greater than 4. So I'll add 1 to it, making what? 9. The question didn't ask us. I have decided to leave the answer to the 4 decimal places. All right, great. So how do we find the so this is our I. How do we find the I? That is the percentage error or percent error. So we are saying that for percent error, it's just a matter of what? Multiplying the relative error by what? 100%. So to get accurate answer, we can just write. So for percent error, I will also term it as P subscript E, like this. So that represents our percentage error. So I will just write 0.5, 3.5. Now, listen, the question didn't ask us to approximate it. So to get the accurate answer, use the fraction one to find what? The percentage error. Don't use the approximated one, because we are not asked to approximate. We have decided to approximate it. So instead, use the fraction part and multiply by 100%. All right, great. So that you get accurate answer. So if you are multiplying by this, then we can get 14.2857. So this one also goes. It is not what? Terminating. So we can also decide to what? Approximate it to. So this one I will just approximate to just 2 decimal places. All right. So I will get 14.29 then I'll add my percentage. Okay, so this gives the answer. Now when you are asked such a question, that is how you go about it. Now let's take another example and look at how we can solve that one as well. Okay, let's take our second example. Okay, now let's look at our second question. So in our second question, it says James estimated the weight of his cat to be 5.5 pounds. The cat's actual weight is 4.75 pounds. Find the percent error. Good. So the same situation here. We just apply what is given to us. So let's identify the actual weight. So actual weight is giving us, the actual weight is giving us 4.75 pounds, and the estimated weight is also giving us what? 5.5 pounds. Good. So let's find the percentage error. So percentage error is giving us what? Now let's find the difference in value. So difference in value or weight. Difference in, so let me make it weight. Difference in weight is giving us 5.5 minus 4.75, which gives us 0.75. Great. So we are finding percent error, which is giving us absolute error. That is what? Difference in value or error, or difference in weight, all divided by actual value or original value. So I said difference in value is the same as the absolute error. All right, good. So you only do substitution. Now you multiply by 100%. Have you gotten the point? Great. So all that you do is you just do substitution. Now our difference in value is giving us 0.75, all divided by, and what is the actual value? The actual value is what is giving us the actual weight or the original weight, which is 4.75 then times 100%. So let's find the answer to this. Okay, all right, good. So this gives us 15.78947. So we can approximate it. To, we are not asked to approximate to any decimal place, but we are deciding to approximate. So I will approximate it to 2 decimal places. So I will write 15.7. So 2 means 1 2, then the last number is more than 4, so I'll add 1 to it, making 9. Then I'll add my percentage. Have you gotten the point? Great. So this becomes our answer. Very simple. Now let's solve our last question. That will be our third question. Let's look at that question. So this will be our third question. Okay, so our third question. Now And this question, we are saying that Johnny wants to buy a phone for his nephew. He estimates the cost to be, so let me put to be 250 Ghana cedis if the percent error is 8% above the actual value. Find the actual price of the device, that is of the phone, and we are to round to the nearest hundredth. Okay, good. So in this case, unlike the other two examples we've already solved, we're given the actual value, the estimated or the approximated value, and we were asked to find the percent error. By this time, we have been given the estimated value and the percent error. We are tasked to find the actual value. So that is the actual price. Okay. So this one, um, let's start. Great. So let's write the values given down because we are not given the actual value. So let's let any variable. So let x be the actual value. Good. And estimate our estimated value. So we have our estimated value is given as what? Um, that is given as 250 Ghana cedis. That's the estimated price. Okay, good. Now, do you know the percentage error? Yes. So we are given percent error. So percent error is given as that is 8%. We are given percent error as 8%. Good. Now, since we are given percent error, then we need to quote our formula. All right, the formula we have been using to solve percent error. Now we are saying that percent error is given as what? So percent is given as difference in value, all divided by actual value times 100%. This is the formula for finding this. But how do we find difference in value? Difference in value is calculated and it is the same as the absolute error. Take note of that. In the beginning, I said difference in value is the same as what? Absolute error. Okay, great. How do we find difference in value? It's just a matter of what? Subtracting the actual value from the estimated value. That's we find the difference of the actual and the estimated value. Have you gotten that? Great. And divide by the actual value. So since we are given percent error as 8%, we just write our 8% here like this should be equal to the difference in value. We are finding the difference in the actual and the estimated value. So we write 250 minus the actual value, which we don't know. In this case, we use x to represent that, divided by the same actual value, which is x times 100%. Great. So this is very basic. This is very, very basic. Now, know that we can we can write this as 8 divided by 100, which is equal to 250 minus x, all divided by x times, and we can also write this as 100 divided by 100. So it means that this one will go. Have you gotten the point? And it is leaving as 1. 1 times this will still give us the same. So with this time, we have this. We have 8 divided by 100 times 250 minus x, all divided by x. Now, once we have here, this is equal to, this is equal sign, this is equal to. Good. So once we have this, then we find x. That is what we are looking for. So if we have this, what do? We can do cross multiplication, right? Or yes, we can do cross multiplication. We can multiply 100 throughout and multiply x throughout. Do you get it? Or we can also find the LCM of this and multiply through. Okay, so what would be the LCM? The LCM is 100x. 100x, that would be the LCM. But I think doing cross multiplication will be easy for us. So here we can do cross multiplication like this. So x will multiply this, which is 8x, which is equal to 100. Is going to multiply the whole of this. Have you gotten the point? Great. So my 8x should be equal to, so 100 times 250 gives me 25,000 minus 1. This will multiply that 100 and then x. Good. Now we can group like them. So I'll write my 8x, then bring this one here plus 100x, which is equal to 25,000. All right. Now if I add this, I'm going to get 108x is equal to 25,000. Okay, good. So let me divide both sides by 108. So 108. This one will go. So I'll have x as now 25,000 divided by 108. So this gives me if I should divide this, then I'm going to get 231.48 148. Cool. So this is, if you want to continue, you can continue. But the question says we are limited, and the question says we should round our answer to the nearest hundredth. To the nearest hundredth. So to the nearest hundredth. So our concentration is this hundredths. Now when we say to the nearest hundredth, so this, it is the same as you are asked to round to 2 decimal places. Have you gotten that? When you are asked to, when you see it is in this form, whether to the nearest tenth like this, to the nearest tenth like this. So tenth like this means to 1 decimal place. Hundredth like this means what? 2 decimal place. 1,000s or thousands means what? 3 decimal places. Then it goes like that. Have you gotten that? So this one, it means we are going to round to 2 decimal places. It's the same thing. Have you gotten that? If that is the case, then my final answer becomes what? 231.48, because to the nearest hundreds means to run to two decimal places. If that is the case, then the question says we should find the actual price. Therefore, the price, actual price is is 231 cities 48 pesos. So that is the actual price of the phone. Okay, that answers the whole question. Now, questions like this, you need to take your time and go through all this process. Other than that, you are going to get the whole thing hot wrongly. So that is how we go about this question. Now we'll end here and continue next time. This is Mazways TV. I'm your facilitator, Evans Okine. If you have any question, go to the comment section. You can add your submission. We are all learning. If you have questions, other questions, you can post it there and we will help you out. Okay, so see you next time. Thank you.